Speaker Series presented by the Entrepreneurs Forum. This series is your weekly destination for insightful discussions with industry leaders held every Thursday on Zoom. Our aim is to create a platform that caters to both seasoned professionals and those keen on the business world. Each session is carefully designed to provide current and relevant information, fostering an environment conducive to learning, networking, and professional growth. The knowledge shared in these sessions extends beyond our weekly meetings. We're excited to announce that the discussions will be transcribed and featured in the Bellwether magazine, a publication focused on lifestyle and finance for entrepreneurs. This ensures that the valuable insights gained from our guest experts are accessible to a wider audience. We're always on the lookout for new voices and perspectives. If you believe your expertise aligns with our vision and you're interested in contributing to our series, we encourage you to apply through our guest speaker application that'll be available after this episode. Join us in this engaging journey of exploration and discovery in the dynamic world of business and innovation. We're delighted to introduce our diverse podcast lineup, offering 4 distinct weekly episodes. These episodes are a different subject or topic every week. The first Thursday of every month is the Financial Canvas, where we discuss financial insights and navigating the complexities of finance with experts who will share their knowledge on investment strategies, market trends, and financial planning. The second Thursday of each month is Radiant Resilience, hosted by Jessica Carwatt, where she discusses how to boost your business by prioritizing your health. The third Thursday of each month is dedicated to Tech Horizons. Stay ahead of the latest technology trends with discussions on emerging technologies, digital transformation, and innovative business solutions. And the last Thursday of the month is dedicated to the Marketing Maverick with Fritz Collinet, where you will learn from the best in advertising and marketing as they reveal their secrets to effective branding, digital marketing strategies, customer engagement, and so much more. This is more than just a forum. It's a community that can be joined on LinkedIn, where ideas develop and connections are made. Whether you're a seasoned entrepreneur or just starting out as a rookie, our speaker series is the perfect platform to enhance your knowledge, expand your network, and inspire your entrepreneurial spirit. Each week, these podcasts offer a blend of expertise and practical advice, making them a must-listen for professionals and enthusiasts alike. We invite you to join us every Thursday on Zoom in this enlightening journey through finance, health, technology, and marketing. Tune in to gain new insights and propel your professional growth. This week, our very special guest is Christy DiCenso. Christy is a graduate of the University of Central Florida. She graduated with a business management and entrepreneurship degree. Christy empowers businesses to elevate their growth through innovative funding solutions, to say the least, and leveraging their EIN-backed financing that's not attached to your personal credit or social security number. Christy's also the regional managing partner and business credit consultant with J. Galt. And with that being said, Christy DiCenso.
Thank you, Michael. I'm so excited to be here with you all today. As Michael said, I'm a business credit consultant with J. Galt, and our goal is to help business owners leverage their business's credit profile, gain access to more money, cheaper money, and limit those personal guarantees. So today we're going to talk about what business credit is, what it does for the business, and why most businesses don't have a strong credit profile. So I want to start off with some statistics, business statistics, real, raw, and honestly very hard to even see and talk about, but it is the reality of business ownership today. Most small businesses fail. In fact, over 80% of the businesses that fail because they don't have access to the capital that they need for business operations. The average failed business leaves the business owner with over $80,000 in personal guaranteed debt. So that's debt that has to be repaid on a business that's not actually in operation any longer. And the other sad truth is 66% of businesses fail within the first 10 years. Yet all of us want to be entrepreneurs. All of us want to start our own businesses. And more than half of us fail to make it to that 10-year marker. And again, because of that lack of access to the funding that the business actually needs to stay in operation. So I do want to start down at the bottom at basics, personal credit versus business credit from a scoring perspective. So looking at personal credit, we all know that that is built around your Social Security number, and that score runs from 350 to about 850. If you have a 720 on the personal side, you're probably getting approved for whatever it is that you want at the best rates and the best terms. The main credit bureaus on the consumer or personal side are TransUnion, Experian, and Equifax. There are several factors that affect your personal credit score, but the two that I really want to focus on are hard inquiries and utilization. If you think about the basics of how your personal credit is scored, it is really designed to keep you from spending money. Right? So hard inquiries is if you need money, you get penalized for actually going to look for it. And then utilization is if you have money, you get penalized for spending it, right? So the consumer lending world and that personal credit score, it truly is compiled of different requirements that are designed to keep us from spending money, right? So your business's credit score is actually built around the EIN for your business. So when you incorporate your business and you register your business with the IRS, you are able to apply for an EIN or an employer identification number. That number is essentially the Social Security number of your business, which allows your business to be its own entity. And just like you build credit around your social, your business can build credit around that EIN number. The scoring is very different and runs from 0 to 100. And that 80 credit score is really that sweet spot, very comparable to the 720 on the consumer side. If you have an 80 or higher business credit score, your business is getting approved for whatever it wants at the best rates and the best terms. There are 4 main business credit bureaus. You're looking at Dun & Bradstreet. Experian and Equifax do have business sectors. And then you also have Credit Safe, which is a smaller business credit bureau. And one big difference between personal credit scoring and business credit scoring is that on the business side, the main aspect of your credit score is based on the business's ability to borrow and pay. So as long as you are showing positive payment abilities and paying your bills on time or paying your bills early, that is how you build a strong business credit profile. Right. So there are 3 types of lending, okay? And I want to really differentiate the difference between a personal and business credit score, and then personal lending, business lending, and corporate lending. We should all be very familiar, I would assume, with your consumer lending or personal lending, and that's when we use our social to make personal purchases. Business lending is a hybrid. It is a combination of utilizing the business's EIN and the Social Security number of the business owner to secure funds. Corporate funding or corporate lending is strictly lending that is tied solely to the EIN of the business. Right? So let's talk a little bit more detail about business lending versus corporate lending. So more often than not, when I'm speaking with business owners, they are all leveraging funding from the business lending arena, meaning that they are still putting up personal guarantees for their business. And as I mentioned, it's a hybrid. So you go to the lender and you provide the EIN for your business, And the lender also requires you to provide your social security number, which means that the business didn't have a strong enough credit profile to secure those funds on its own, right? So they need that personal guarantee from you as the business owner. And one thing to understand about business lending is that that money is being given from the lender to you, the business owner, for you to use for your business. So that money comes at personal rates, personal terms, and personal limits. And what I find most often is that business owners become over leveraged, meaning that the money that they're qualifying for is based on their personal qualifications, and it's never enough money to actually grow and scale the business and take the business to the next level. So if you have a business credit card and it's got your name on it, you are probably overpaying for your business money, because that credit card, again, came at personal rates and personal terms. So it probably has a very similar terms, rates, and limits to any personal credit card that you have. And a lot of the situations that I find my business owners in when it comes to that aspect of being over leveraged, that just means that the credit limits that your business has isn't enough to actually fund the business. And remember, in consumer lending, you are held to hard inquiries and 30% utilization standards. So if you have a personally backed business credit card, you are held to those same standards. So there's a business owner that I spoke with recently that had a $20,000 business credit card limit. And again, business credit card, meaning it had his name on it and it was personally guaranteed. So that $20,000 limit is held to utilization standards. So on that credit card, he should not be spending more than $6,000. He told me he spent in the upwards of $25,000 to $30,000 a month for the business expenses, and that $20,000 wasn't enough. Now imagine being limited to only spending $6,000 on that card. So what happens is, when it comes time to grow and scale and you request access to more funding, no one wants to give it to you because you are constantly overspent. You are maxing out your cards. Regardless of the fact of paying those cards down, these lenders see that you have 100% utilization on those cards every month, and they deem you as extremely risky. So this business owner was caught in a situation that he didn't have enough money and nobody wanted to give him any more money. It also, when you tie your social to your business, it also affects your ability to make personal purchases. Whether there's been business owners that I've spoken to that their business kept them from buying homes, their dream home, because they were so financially entangled with their business. I spoke with a business owner recently that wanted to buy a vehicle for his wife, a personal vehicle for his wife, and got approved for 17% interest on those on that vehicle, even with the going rate of 7, 8, and 9 with a 800 credit score. He had a high 7s credit score and still got approved for 17% interest. And when he went back to the lender at the car dealership, said 17% interest, he was actually insulted. And they told him, well, you already have 4 vehicles. He's like, no, I don't. I have 1. They're like, no, you have 4. And he didn't realize that the 3 trucks that he had for his business were personally guaranteed by him and were tied to his social. So those 3 vehicles not being owned by the business and being personally guaranteed by him kept him from being able to buy his wife a vehicle at a reasonable interest rate, right? So my goal is to get businesses out of that business lending arena and into corporate lending, because in corporate lending, these lenders are giving the money to the business. And in that type of funding, terms and rates are always more favorable, so money is much cheaper. Limits can be 10 times to 100 times more than what you're getting on the consumer and personally backed business lending side. And you are not held to utilization standards. So if you have a $100,000 limit card and you have an opportunity to buy something in bulk, or maybe there's an opportunity for you to invest in something new or buy a piece of equipment, and you tap into all 100,000 of it, as long as you're demonstrating your ability to pay it back, that is not going to hinder you from gaining access to more funding at a later date, right? So when you're in corporate lending, you have access to all the money that you need that's not personally guaranteed, and that money is costing you a lot less. So that is, having access to corporate lending is how businesses grow and scale, right? And one thing that's really important to understand is, how do you actually build your business's credit profile? I speak with business owners all the time, and they're like, I always pay my bills on time. I have been in business for X number of years. I have X amount of revenue dollars. Like, why do I not have a strong business credit profile? And really, one thing to understand is the building your business credit score is pretty black and white. As long as you're demonstrating your ability to borrow and pay, you should, and I use air quotes, you should be building your business's credit profile. But the important thing to understand is that you need to leverage the right lenders for your business transactions to build your business's credit profile. And I put this in really big, bold letters. Building your business credit score is done intentionally. It will not just happen for us business owners. So business owners, wake up. It is important to understand. I can't say it enough. They just think that, oh, I have a business, I've been in business for X years, I have a credit score. My business credit score is great. And I promise you, you're going to be surprised by what that report actually says, because of this basic principle, which is that your business's credit report is not going to just naturally build itself. And another big factor that business owners are always, they come to me like in a state of frustration, and they say, Christy, I don't understand why when I go to get business funding, the lenders always ask for my social. I just don't understand it. And if you ask yourself the same thing, it's probably because your business credit profile isn't anywhere near what you would think your business deserves it to be at, right? So one thing to understand is, again, kind of that I've been in business for X number of years and I should have credit. And again, that is extremely false. And the reason is because personal lenders are required to report when you pay your bills on time. So if you're paying a consumer bill and you're paying those bills on time, your lenders are required to report those on-time payments to TransUnion and Experian and Equifax. But on the business side, they're not required. It is left entirely optional for those business lenders to report your on-time payments. So if your business's credit score is based on your business's ability to borrow and pay, but the lenders that you use are not reporting those on-time payments to Dun & Bradstreet, Experian Business, Equifax Business, and CreditSafe, how can you be building your business's credit profile? And the answer is you can't, right? So that's why on that, 2 prior slides, I mentioned that you need to be leveraging the right lenders for your business expenses. Since lenders are not required to report, less than 7% of business lenders actually are reporting your business's on-time payments. And that's why most businesses never get out of most business owners never get out of personally guaranteeing their business, and why businesses never make it to that corporate lending arena. Your business credit score doesn't just happen. As I mentioned, it is something that you have to intentionally build, and you have to know who those 7% of lenders are for your business expenses to actually naturally build that credit profile. So some other misconceptions in the business credit world is that I have a business credit card, so I'm building business credit, or it might be a line of credit or business vehicle loan. So I'm building credit. And again, that is false because less than 7% of business lenders actually reform. But another thing to really understand is that, and I get this all the time, I'll be out at a networking event, and a business owner say, I don't personally guarantee my business at all. And I'll suggest, well, just for my peace of mind, can you double check your business credit card and see if your name is on it? And they'll pull out the card. And I can't tell you the profanity that I've heard from business owners at these networking events where they're like, oh my gosh, my name's on the card. And they just don't even realize that you having your name on the business credit card is not just because you're the owner of the business. It means that you are personally guaranteeing the debt on those credit cards, on those lines of credit, and on those loans. Right? So that's a really big misconception. Another one is that I'm protected. I hear that one all the time. That's okay. My business is incorporated, so it doesn't matter if I provide my social for funding because I have that corporate veil that's protecting me from my business. And that's probably one of the scariest misconceptions that I hear, because that business owner genuinely thinks that they are not personally guaranteeing their business, that having their business incorporated is all they need to keep themselves separate from the business. And if you really think about it, it's almost counterproductive. You spend all this time, money, and effort incorporating your business, applying for your EIN number so that you can have that legal separation from your business, because that EIN, again, makes the business its own entity. So you are a separate entity from your business. But then you go get financing and they ask you for your social. So you provide your social to fund the business debt. And now you're financially responsible for your business. So that corporate veil that's separating you from your business goes away. So by having a strong credit profile, you can keep that wall, that corporate veil intact, and keep yourself separate from your business, not only liability, but also financially. And if you've already financially tied yourself to the business, don't worry, you can get out of those personal and financial ties as long as you build your business credit profile. Another misconception, this is my misconception, it's extremely controversial, but I'm going to stand by it, and it's that cash is king. Right? Depending on who you talk to, everybody has a different philosophy. I was raised by a father who was like, if I can't buy it cash, I'm not buying it at all. Right? But now, being in the industry that I'm in, you realize the importance of leveraging someone else's money to build your credit profile, whether it's your business or it's your consumer. Because if you have a strong credit profile, you will get the money that you need when you need it at the best rates and the best terms. Unless you have like all the money in the world and you just know that anything you could possibly ever want, you could buy cash, then great. But if you know that that's not a possibility for you, then you need to rely on building a strong credit profile so that you can gain access to the funds that you need. Right? There is such thing as good debt and bad debt. Taking out a $10,000 loan and taking your family on a trip to Europe, I wouldn't necessarily consider that good debt. But taking out a $100,000 equipment loan for your business at 5%, that's going to lead you a 15 or 20% return in the business, that's good debt. That's great debt, right? But if you don't have a strong credit profile and you're getting that equipment loan at 20, 30%, and you're only going to make 15 to 20%, that's bad debt. So that's why it's important to have a strong credit profile, so that when you need something for the business, and even personally, but when you need something particularly for the business, your credit score is strong enough to be able to go secure that funding at the cheapest rates, so that when you invest it into the business, there's more money to be made and for it to go into your pocket, right? So who can actually build credit? Okay, and there's really only technically two things you need. Okay, one, you need an EIN. If you're a sole proprietor, even if you're a sole proprietor that has an EIN, you will always be financially tied to your business, because as a sole proprietor, you and your business are one, no matter what, even with an EIN number. So the only businesses that can build a business credit profile that is completely separate from the business owner is if your business is incorporated and has an EIN, meaning you're an S corp, a C corp, an LLC, a limited liability partnership, and you need expenses, right? So if you're not leveraging someone else's money to fund your business, you're not building credit. But that also means you need to have expenses in the business. Otherwise, you're just buying things to buy things to build up the credit of the business. So as long as you're incorporated and you have expenses, you can build a credit profile for your business that is completely separate from yourself, right? So why do we need credit, right? And just kind of some basic bullet points. Access to corporate funding. That is the one main reason that you want to have a strong credit profile, because in that corporate lending space, money is cheaper and money is much more abundant, which allows you to have the money that you need to grow and scale your business at any time of the lifespan of your business. Also, you get to limit that personal and financial liability, that financial tie to the business, right? It allows the business to stand on its own 2 feet so that you're not financially backing the business with your social. It also frees you up from the business from a financial perspective, which frees up your personal credit, which allows you to go buy the things that you want to buy for yourself and for your family. And then also to have options. Right. I've met so many business owners in my time that tell me, Christy, I needed a truck so bad, and all I got was 22% interest. I didn't have the cash to buy the truck up front, so I had to take that highway robbery 22% interest rate. And that's hard, right? One reason for me, I always wanted a personally strong credit profile was so that I could have options. So I could say, that let me see if I can find something better down the street and around the corner. And having a strong credit profile puts you in a position of power. When you sit in front of those lenders and you know that your business meets all of their underwriting criteria, you can do just that. Weigh out your options and say, I'm just here to see what you can provide me. Don't really need it, but if it's cheap, I'll take it. Think about from a lending perspective. They never want to give money to the people that are desperate, but they want to just throw money to the people that don't actually need it. So by having a strong credit profile, you put your business in a position of power when it comes to seeking funding for the business. So if you watch this video and you are interested in learning about your business credit and your business credit profile, you can definitely reach out to me. I would love to meet you, talk to you about your business, learn about your goals for this 2024, maybe your long-term goals. Having a strong credit profile is really great if you have an exit strategy of selling the business or passing the business on, and that'll be for a whole nother episode. But if you are interested, please reach out to me. Here you can see is my QR code that brings you to the website. You can also shoot me a text or send me an email. I would love to run a complimentary business credit report for your business, and then we can go over it together. Thanks, Michael.
Christy, that was I did learn a couple things, and that information is super valuable. People, they don't know what they don't know, right? And you made the point that if your name's on that credit card, that's tied to you. That's tied to your stuff. So let me ask you, if that's the case, and you're just starting out in business, and you don't have any credit lined up or fired up, and you're relying on that name on that credit card, how do you start how do you begin having credit for the business?
That is a great question. So as I mentioned earlier, you really only need to be incorporated and have expenses to build your credit. You don't have to be in business for X number of years or have X numbers of millions in revenue to be able to build your credit profile. You can literally incorporate yesterday and start leveraging lenders to build your credit profile today. But I have to be very upfront about this. There's only two ways to fund the business when you get going. You're either going into your own pocket, utilizing your social to secure funding, or you're getting an investor and you're giving them equity. That's the only two ways to do it. So I looked at funding like a triangle. So you have investors over here, you have personal guarantees, self-funding, bootstrapping over here, and then you have corporate funding here up at the top, right? And I like to think myself I'm on top of that triangle from a funding perspective. So once you start your business one of those two ways, it's time to start building your business's credit profile. And once the business has a strong profile, you can use that money that the business qualifies for to pay those investors and get that equity back. Or you can use the money that the business qualifies for and refinance anything that's personally guaranteed to you. Get it out of your name, get it back onto the business, and get that money back in your pocket. It's a great question.
That is a very interesting perspective. Um, I would be willing to bet that the vast majority of company owners have no idea about that. So, one of the statistics you gave were 7% report. So, why don't they report to the credit bureaus?
Oh man, business lending is not for us business owners, I'll tell you that. They are for themselves, and you kind of get it, but us business owners in Main Street are the backbone of this nation, and they do not set us up for success. They really don't from a funding perspective. So, two things really. One, lenders are given the option, right? So, business lenders have the option to report or to not report your business's on-time payments. Okay, so one, keep that in mind. Two, the business bureaus, this is their business. How do they get money? They charge the lender when the lender reports those on-time payments, right? So if you're a lender and you have the option to report, and if you choose to report, you got to pay. Are you doing it? No. And that's why less than 7% of lenders actually report. Another really big one is the lenders want that personal guarantee, right? So if they start reporting your on-time payments, what's going to happen to your credit profile? It's going to go up, which means next time you need funding, your business credit profile meets criteria for non-personally guaranteed funds. Now here they are, they've basically given you the keys to get funding without a personal guarantee. Why would they do that? So that's why it's such a small percentage of lenders that are actually going to report your business's on-time payments.
That's just crazy.
Crazy.
This has been so eye-opening. I'm so looking forward to the rest of this series, and I'm sure our listeners are as well. So thank you for this, and thank you for agreeing to participate in this series. And can you put your contact screen back up one more time?
I can,
Yeah.
absolutely.
So if anyone has any questions for Christy DiCenso, just reach out to her. I'm sure she'd be happy to take any questions that you have, give you a free evaluation on your business credit score and what that looks like. And I'm sure that some arrangements could be made to where she could assist you in moving forward to establishing, corporate credit to where it's not attached to your stuff, to where you can go out and get that pool you want next summer.
Oh my God, such a true story. Honestly, my cousin's going through the same thing right now. She's trying to buy a pool and she's so financially tied to the business and she just can't He had a pool in our backyard. Like, that's even right. I'm like, so I think it's so funny you brought that up. It's so true. Let me help you get financially removed for your business so that you can do all the personal things that you want to do.
Absolutely. Christy, thank you very much. Look forward to following up, and we will speak again very soon.
Thank you so much, Michael. It's such a pleasure, an honor. I appreciate the opportunity